Winter is coming.
Winter is coming.
Yeah, so winter is coming to Sweden. I'm filming this at, let's see, what's today's date? Today is the 11th of November and we're preparing for winter. Now, I want to talk about the Swedish winter. For some of you people that haven't been to Sweden before during the winter or are planning to move to Sweden and haven't experienced an entire winter in Sweden yet. I've lived here for 10 years, so that's 10 winters I have experienced here while living here, and I've also had some vacations before I moved to Sweden during the winter. Now, what can you expect? Let's start with temperatures, right? Those are easy. Well, not as easy as you think. Sweden is a big country. If you're from Holland, you don't really understand the big difference. See, if you were to take Sweden, if this is Sweden on the map, and you would flip it down, it would reach all the way to Italy. That's how long Sweden is. It takes almost a week to drive from the start from Sweden all the way to the top. If drive 8 hours a day and take breaks and that kind of stuff. Maybe less than a week. I was maybe exaggerating there. Anyway, just saying, the south of Sweden is very different than the north of Sweden. I don't know if everybody realizes this, but the north of Sweden actually lies in the Arctic Circle. The Arctic Circle, yeah. It's part of the North Pole. The north of Sweden is a part of the North Pole. So you can imagine that it gets pretty cold there. I was there once in August, and I went all the way as far up as you can go in Sweden. And in August, it was only 5 degrees Celsius up there. Now, that's not what we're going to talk about. I'm just saying this so you realize that my experience and the information I'm about to give you is about the area I currently live in. I live in the south of Sweden, almost a little bit the middle of Sweden. They call it like south middle of Sweden. It's not really, whatever. I live in an area called Småland, or Jönköpingslän. And over here we get winter temperatures of about -14, -16. Now, of course, it can be warmer and it can be colder. The warmest temperatures we have seen during winters are above zero, but not much, like 1 or 2 degrees above zero. But the coldest I've ever seen is -27. Yes, that was really cold. -27. Now there's a lesson I've learned here in Sweden during those kind of cold temperatures. Like when it's more than -20, or I should say colder than -20. That means no matter how good your clothing is, you can almost not be outside for longer than a half an hour. Within a half an hour, you will feel your body temperature go down. With that kind of cold temperatures, just breathing in through your nose kind of hurts. I mean, it's still really cool to go out on walks during that period. Cool, get it? Haha. No, it's still fun to go outside and experience that, but you're not going to be outside for long, and you have to keep that in mind. Don't go for a walk that is like multiple hours long. It's not going to go well unless you are really prepared. But that's the cold. We've also had a couple of warmer winters, which means it's kind of like fall all the time. The thing is, snow. we get a lot of snow. Like 1 meter of snow in one night, kinda lot of snow. That can happen. Ooh, it's windy here. The weather sucks at the moment, by the way. You know, but I'm still walking around for you guys. Also for myself, I like walking around. Anyway, snow does fall a lot here. Some winters we get so much that you're basically plowing snow like almost every day. But some winters we just get one big pack of snow and then it never snows again. But that one snowfall usually sticks around. It gets warm and it gets cold, but that one pack of snowfall just gets slushy and turns into ice, and it's usually not that fun when you don't get fresh snow or it never really melts away during the winter. That was last winter, by the way. The winter of 2021 going into 2022, that winter wasn't great. We had one snowfall and then no snowfall anymore. And then the temperature kept fluctuating between freezing and thawing, freezing and thawing. And you know, that snow just sticks around, turns into sheets of ice, and people slip and fall, people crash their cars, and it's all just yucky and icky. So that happens. So if you are thinking about buying a house in Sweden, whether it be for living in or whether it be for vacations, keep in mind that during the winter you want it to be accessible as well. We have a couple of friends that have their house, I think it's almost 1 kilometer away from the main road, and that gravel road that leads to their house only leads to their house and a lakeside bathing location. Now, they have to plow that entire kilometer by themselves. They have done it with a shovel before, but usually they have to ask local farmers for help, because a road like that, yeah, the government is not going to help you plow that, because it's not a main road. So something to keep in mind when you buy a house here. And of course, what you guys all know that have watched my channel for a longer time, heating your house is a big deal. You can imagine if your house is a little bit older and not insulated that well, and outside it's minus 25, 27 or minus 14, you're gonna lose heat real fast. So you want to take care of that insulation. It's going to save you a lot of money in the long run if you have an insulated house. And also keep in mind that the way you are heating your house, you're going to be doing that for a long time. Winters here in Sweden last much longer than in Holland. If you're heating your house with fire, then you need a lot of firewood. If you're heating your house with electricity, you're going to need a lot of electricity. Anyway, so that's the whole deal with temperatures and your house. Really think about that, much more than you would in any other place, because winters here can last from October into beginning of May. It has actually happened that we still had some snow at the beginning of May. You don't have that everywhere. Now, one thing I would advise everybody to do as well, if you have the choice of cars in the winter, please get a 4-wheel drive car. Like, there's so many normal cars nowadays, like Audis or Subarus or Hyundais. There are options out there of cars that have 4-wheel drive, and that will help you out so much driving in the winter in the snow and on ice. If you have the opportunity, do that. I have felt the difference in my parents' cars, and it's so much better. It makes it so much safer. Like, I had winters when I had my quad bike that I could choose to drive my car to work, but I had a rear-wheel drive car back then, but I chose to drive my ATV and be cold just so that I know it was going to be safer. Really important to have four-wheel drive if you can, you know, have that opportunity. Also, here in Sweden you're allowed to buy dubbdäck, spiked tires. You're allowed to use those in Sweden. Please use those if you can. So much more grip. You know, spiked tires don't give you any extra help in snow, because then they're basically just like normal winter tires. They're not better than normal winter tires in snow. But when you're driving on ice, that's when they are really better than normal winter tires. And since Sweden is not a flat country like Holland, you're going up and downhill and driving through zigzagging forest trails. Those spike tires are gonna help you. The only disadvantage being that if you have spike tires, you cannot leave into Europe. They aren't allowed in Germany, for instance. So keep that in mind. All of that sounds kinda negative and a lot, it's pretty hard, you think? But boy, I think it's worth it. I think the winters in Sweden are so beautiful. Just walking around in these forests when they've got a fresh coat of powdered snow. So beautiful. Like photogenic, and driving from work in the mornings with a little bit of mist over the snow and then seeing the sunrise in a blue, velvet blue sky. Oh, so perfect. I really enjoy the winters here. But you have to realize the winters here are a lot more tough to live through than in Holland. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little information dump about the Swedish winters. Just be prepared. They will cost you a little bit more money than they would anywhere else because of, you know, the electrical bill and insulation and all kind of stuff. Winter tires. Also, so you know, some people here in Sweden actually have two different cars. They have a car for the winter and a car for the summer. That's how far Swedish people take it sometimes. I don't have that kind of money, so I change tires instead. But some people do that, which is kind of amazing and probably smart. Like, you can have a four-wheel drive car with winter tires during the winter, and then during the summer you can have a car that uses less gasoline. So probably saves money in the end. I'm not sure, but anyway, random thought. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was good information for you, and see you on the next one. Bye. YouTube says you might enjoy this video. Go ahead and give it a try.